Alright, turn on OBS because no editing. And we're going to talk about MCU Hulk. That's what we're going to do. We have this guy. He's over here. He has this little take on it, and I'll talk a little bit about it.
Said the silent part out loud of what it means for Hulk to be in Spider-Man Brand New Day. As we know, Bruce Banner is going to be in the movie, and we know that Peter is going to go to him because of the mutations that's been going on with his body ever since he decided to go solo being Spider-Man. Like, as we see, it does get progressively worse in this movie, as to the point where his eyes are blacking out, and he's having these episodes
We're getting
where
there,
he's
Hulk.
waking up
It's
in
about
cocoons. But besides that, besides Bruce Banner being in the movie, what does it mean for Hulk to be in this film? It means yet again he's going to be a punching bag for the MCU to carry on their story.
Don't believe me?
Don't believe me? What happened when the first time they did it?
Alright, so let me explain things. So did they get Hulk right or did they get him wrong in the MCU? There's a bigger picture. So, first of all, we don't have the full rights. I say we as an MCU because we are all one. But they don't have the full rights of Hulk. They can't make a Hulk movie. So the only thing they could do is throw him in certain scenarios. And you gotta use them the best you can. Of course, you know, we have Avengers, which is probably the best fitting for him. It worked with Thor. It worked with Spider-Man's going to be one that it works with, I assume. Hulk appearing is okay in things. And yeah, when he's there, it's kind of... It sets a scale. So let's go through things, all right? The first time we really got the Hulk was in Norton's Hulk. We're talking MCU. I hated that Hulk. He was savage. Like, he's cool that he's all mad and crazy. I've always liked the Hulk that, even though he's Hulk, the ones that don't talk stupid Hulk, like I like when they could like kind of talk. Reading the comics, watching the cartoons for years, even like the 70s ones, like my dad would have me watch when I was little. It was just goofy, and he's just, oh, I'm a monster, and it's like he started to turn into a monster that kind of was self-aware, kind of like how he is in Ragnarok, where Hulk is just there. And it's nothing to do with Banner being somewhere in there. Banner's basically back of his head. He's not worried about Banner. So that's kind of like the best version of Hulk I like, is when he's like Hulk, could talk normal, not sound so stupid, kind of use words better. That's kind of the best Hulk. The one we got in... I hated Ed Norton. I don't like him really as a person. When I see him in interviews and stuff, he's kind of cringe. Then when I heard stuff on the set where he tried to take over and he tried to change the script and all that kind of stuff, it's hard because MCU has a vision, and we clearly see that now, and that's how they're so successful and they made it to where they are. That's where Edgar Wright couldn't do Ant-Man. I love Edgar Wright. I love all his movies. He's freaking amazing. But he wanted to do his own Ant-Man movie, and I was so excited, but they were like, no, we got to follow this plan, and he backed down and left, and this was years ago, and things like that just happened. But with Edward Norton, again, didn't care for it. I didn't see Bruce Banner in him at all. Bruce Banner is a hard guy to capture. It's got to be like a nerdy guy, but also somewhat handsome, scrawny enough to be like, you know, it makes a difference when he turns into Hulk. You don't want Arnold walking around turning into Hulk, or old 80s Arnold, I should say. But I didn't care for that one. So that's our first glance at Hulk. But our real Hulk that we have now was Avengers. And Avengers, they did him pretty proper. I don't even think in the Edward Norton one if he talked much in that one. I can't really remember, because I don't remember him being Hulk that much in that movie. I remember he walks and gets bombarded down like at a college or something, and they fight him in like a park, and that's when Tim Roth has the super soldier serum and he runs after him, and I don't know. Then I just remember the end fight. The end fight was really, really good, though. It's a good fight. It's like up there for one of the best fights in Marvel, I think. People sleep on it a lot. But that movie, whatever. But so our first time we really got to see Hulk, we got basically first appearance Hulk in a way. This is how Hulk is kind of depicted. This is how we're going to show him the fans, like puny god and stuff like that. They did him fine. He had a smaller part, but Bruce Banner had a bigger part. And I think Bruce Banner needs to have these bigger parts. You don't want Hulk all the time. Hulk all the time is not going to be great unless you do him somewhat like Ragnarok does him. But you also have to have something there with him to balance it out. You can't have just a big dumb guy, basically. That's how they treat Hulk in comics. Just walk around and not do things or talk to people. Half the time he's with somebody. He was with Rick Jones a lot through his comics because someone was there talking to him. Him just being alone, it just didn't work. So Hulk is actually working pretty well how the MCU is using him. They're doing their best right now to use him with the limits they have. And I think even if Hulk got his movie, he would need a good supporting cast. We can't just watch Hulk as Hulk through a whole movie. You love Hulk, but you just wouldn't want it. You have to have a good Bruce Banner with the Hulk. And Bruce Banner has to have a good story as well. And Mark Ruffalo, I think, oh, by the way, you're going to hear a lot of dinging because I'm like trying to sell something on right now online and people are going crazy. So I think Marvel has done what they can do with the Hulk. And as a punching bag, I don't know about that. I think they use them as emotional stakes. So in Avengers, we showed Bruce Banner's side of reluctantly getting involved with the Avengers, and then oh no, we may not be able to control him. We have these precautions, and do we trust Banner? Like when he's around the scepter, they give us these little things with Hulk, little things that to give a little flair to the story, and then at the end, which still gives me chills to this day. My secret is I'm always angry. Great part, and he had to deal with the Hulk after Edward Norton's that we'll turn to Hulk when we feel like it. We'll turn back. That was pretty proper. They did him pretty good. I don't see anything bad about that one. And then next one we have Age of Ultron's the next one. So Age of Ultron, that Hulk wasn't too bad. People got mad. He was a punching bag, they said. I think he's saying, let's hear what he talks about Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron, right? They had Scarlet Witch mind control him, and Iron Man beat him. So he decides to go to another.
So that was stupid. Far as that, okay. So again, they use them kind of for stakes. You put Hulk being somewhere is a big deal. So it's like a Superman level threat is when he's there. That's why Bruce right now is wearing a thing right now to suppress his mutation, or whatever they want to call it. He's kind of a big deal. So with Civil War, they used him really well with him and Black Widow having this thing kind of together. And I'm sorry, Age of Ultron. They had this kind of thing going on. It's more like, can I let this go and just run away and be with someone and not worry about Hulk anymore? And then that's the conflict already within the Bruce Banner story. Then we have Hulk. He does get I want to say brainwashed, takes control of whatever. Mind control. But you have to remember, in the first Avengers ever, Loki mind controls Hulk to fight them, and that's what everyone thought was going to happen when we saw the first Avengers. They thought they were going to copy the first book, the first comic. And even the Ultimates, I believe, made Hulk freak out, something about Betty Ross or something, and he even did that in the Ultimates, I believe, comic in that first arc. Because I remember at the end, Captain America just kicks the crap out of his face, and he's like, I can't take anything anymore. He's Bruce Banner, and he just kicks it. Ultimates was trying to be too edgy, I felt like. But anyway, so it made sense. If you take control of Hawkeye, was there much getting done in Avengers? Was he a threat? Not really. I mean, he got brown eye or purple eyes or something like that, and he just was like an inside man kind of thing. But you take control of the Hulk, we got a thing going on. And on top of us getting a thing going on, this is a huge threat. So much of a threat that they've already mentioned Veronica in the beginning, so we know it's going to come. We don't know when we first watch it, but the Hulkbuster is going to debut. Boom, you use Hulk again. You're using it to bring the Hulkbuster in the story. So fans get to see the Hulkbuster. So that's another way that we use Hulk, because we can't make a Hulk movie, unfortunately. So you use them in side places, and Civil War was an Avenger movie, a good way to bring him in. Or, God, I keep saying Civil War. Age of Ultron was a good movie to bring him in, and Age of Ultron is so slept on. People hate it, and now they're finally coming around to like it, because it set up so much for the Infinity Gauntlet saga. So much happens in that movie that sets it up. And watch it again and see parts of it and tell me it wasn't. Tell me. The Hulk was great. They used him. Okay, he doesn't get beat the crap out of by Iron Man. It's a good fight, and that suit was built by Bruce, I'm messing up all night, I'm tired. Bruce Banner and Tony Stark built that suit. So if it was meant to beat Hulk, it was meant by Bruce Banner. Let's not say he was sloppy or whatever. So Hulk kind of went out of it. He did in the beginning. He got this little thing where he could be Hulk and be badass and fight, and the little lullaby thing that Black Widow did would calm him down. It wasn't so much the interesting part was when he said he had control of it. I don't know if it like takes him a little bit to calm down, or if that's faster for her to talk to him and comfort him. You know, regardless, it happened and happened. Hulk was fine at that part. Then we got him in the middle fight. Fight was fine. Hulkbuster's designed to fight him. Again, it gives, when Hulk is involved, there's stakes going on when Hulk's involved. When he's there, it's a big deal. All right? That's what you have to remember. No matter how much people think, oh, they didn't use him right, we don't have the rights to him. We don't have the rights. Or distribution rights. So Universal has them, and they're never going to let it go. Because they always get a cut of money. Always get a cut. Long as Hulk appears in movies and stuff. So they have to always put Hulk in movies that aren't his. So they don't have to get those rights back. So that's what they do, because Universal's probably jacking it up so high that they know that one day Marvel's going to have to cave and buy it, because they're going to want to do a Hulk movie. But can you do a Hulk movie when you have him successfully in all these movies? But he's a punching bag. I wouldn't go far as that. Someone right here says, I don't think he's a punching bag. I say he's emotional relief at this point. Very good take. That is very, like I'm saying, that he has these important parts, and he's bigger than some of the characters just being a side plot. And I don't think people understand that. So we get him in Ragnarok. People hate Ragnarok. I've already made a video about that, and I don't want to get into too much detail, but I think Ragnarok is smart. But we get him in there, and it cuts to from Age of Ultron wanting to get away, feeling like he can't change. He can't run away without Black Widow. Then he's there. He's on the planet. We basically got to finally merge Planet Hulk into a story, because we're not going to get a Planet Hulk. MCU doesn't work like that. Movies don't work like that. We can't just have a Planet Hulk movie. It just would be too hard. It would be too messy. Unfortunately, we don't follow things comic by comic. You know, try to get the characters as accurate as you can. That's all I say. But after that, I get it. We can't do Secret Wars just like Secret Wars. We can't do Doomsday or whatever, like whatever they want to call it. It's not Battle World yet, but whatever. So we got him in Ragnarok. He was great. He's basically like co-starring with Thor in this movie. Thor is the pivotal point of the movie, but Hulk's in a lot of it, and Bruce Banner's in a lot of it, and it's such a good story, I think. Such a good story. And even when Bruce Banner goes back to normal, to Bruce, I should say, when Hulk turns into Bruce, it's just done really well. Mark Ruffalo acts great in it. And then the end part where he jumps out and he falls down, and like, looks like he breaks his neck, but the next thing you know, he's grabbing a Fenris Wolf's tail and stuff. It's just badass, and he's just... That's like more the Hulk I think people would like, but for some reason they didn't like him. I don't get it. I think he basically beat up Thor in that one. And Thor's pretty strong. They go back and forth. If you read the comics, again, I hate being a gatekeeper. If you read the comics, they go pretty back and forth. Because Thor, people will sleep on Thor. Thor's no joke. Thor's like, he doesn't get angrier and get more strong like Hulk does, but he could get more powered up. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous. Thor goes toe to toe with Silver Surfer. And Silver Surfer is like cosmic crazy being. So using Ragnarok, he did well, did fine. And then we go further, and we get him where everyone's upset. Everyone was upset, and now everyone's mad, and they're complaining, and I'm sick of it, and I'm tired of it. Everyone that read the comics, again, not gatekeeping, they wanted to see Professor Hulk. Now, I understand why there's some grumpies, but let's see.
Planet so he can no longer cause problems, so he can no longer be a punching bag. No, you're still a part of the MCU, which means you still gotta be the punching bag. But the strongest version of Hulk that we've seen in the MCU so far, he finally gets to a point where he's gotten to his strongest feats and he's doing these things. He ends up facing off again.
All right, so we won't get to Professor Hulk. So again, stakes. We had to show something. Number one, you got to do things. We took Thor out of Marvel Civil War because if he took a side, which he don't think he did in the comic, because that's when they made Ragnarok, the robot Thor, because we thought Thor was there. But Thor in Civil War, whoever side he was on was gonna win. Same with Hulk. They had to take them both out of the storyline. Again, we're changing the stories. We're making them different. Hulk wasn't in the Civil War. Thor wasn't in the Civil War. It was between Cap and Steve and Tony, and that was it. It was just between them two. So they wanted to focus on that. We got what it was. It was a mini Civil War, but it was a great freaking movie. I think it was a great movie. They did well for what they wanted to do, representing the comic, and well what they could do with the characters. Using Spider-Man kind of the way they used him in a little bit, besides revealing his identity and Iron Man and him getting into it and Spider-Man turning on him or whatever. But they used it all to a cool way that it worked. but you can't use them in there because it'll ruin things. Just like I said, where you put him in other things for right reasons, because we can't put him in his own film, we drop him off in right places. So that being said, what comes next? Infinity War saga. Endgame. No, not Endgame. Infinity War. So Infinity War, what do? If you have this guy that's a huge threat that could just always beat up Thanos, we had to change something. And then there's arguments. What gym did he have? What did he do? And I think even the Russo said, "Oh, he didn't have the gym. He solely just beat Hulk." That is a little BS for me because Thanos is strong, but I don't know if he's Hulk strong. But regardless, I get the picture they were painting. They wanted us to see that when Thanos came on board on this is a real deal movie. Not only did he just kill everyone on Asgard, basically, Thor's on his knees, jacked up. Hulk. Well, first of all, Loki does his little speech. Then we have a Hulk. Hulk comes in, which is a great nod. Infinity Wars. And Hulk gets beat down. He does get in a decent fight, but then loses. But I get why. They gotta get Hulk out of the story. Because if Hulk's in the story, it's just not gonna work. It's not. If Hulk is there, it levels the playing field too much. You think Hulk and Iron Man together can't beat Thanos without his Infinity Gauntlet? Hulk and Iron Man could whoop him. They would destroy him. Thor and Hulk, they would destroy him. They had to do it a certain way. They had to do it. You have to take someone out of it. That's just what you have to do. You have to do this to remove the stakes, just like the comic book in Civil War removed Thor and Hulk, because if they were in it and they were on sides, it'd be too hard. The only one I could argue with is Scarlet Witch, but they didn't really talk about how much she could change. I don't know if it's like, she's very powerful, we know, in the MCU. I don't think she's comic book powerful. Powerful, House of M, she removed all the mutants from the world. Like, that's just nuts. You're shaping realities. She did take over a town in WandaVision and made it her own, but the people were still there. She was taking control of them. She wasn't erasing people. I don't know. She was creating people like her kids. So it could be around the same power level. I'm not sure. But they do have to downgrade her, just like Sentry as well, I feel like. Because if they make these people as powerful as they are, every fight would be Wild Scarlet Witch. Just say no more whoever, or no more who this. And instead she's throwing cars at Tony in the Civil War. So you have to take these things out of context, or out of the scenarios, because it will mess up stories. And you write this. This is like coming from a perspective I like to write, but looking at writers, not even saying myself, looking at writers and how they do things, there's ways you have to do it with certain characters. You make them go away for a little bit, whatever. It's all about development and story. And sadly, Hulk doesn't get his own movie because of the rights and just distribution. That's the problem. Hulk doesn't have the distribution rights, or Marvel doesn't have distribution rights for Hulk. That's the problem. So they have to use them in little bits where they can. And when they do use them, they use them at pivotal points. Very big points. And you could go from Avengers, very well done. You could go to Ragnarok, very well done. I don't see the problem. He works great in that movie. Age of Ultron, I don't see the problem. He does really good in the fight scene in the beginning. We learned that he's got a thing with Black Widow. He's through a thing with, can I be human more? Can I have a relationship? She can't have kids, but, I don't know. I don't need, all this stuff's going on. He has a good arc. For just being a side guy, he has a good arc going on. And then at the end, or in the middle, yes, he gets mind controlled. Again, this happened with Loki in the first comic. We're not going to sit here and act like this is crazy, okay? You get control of the biggest guy and make him fight. They got to debut the Hulkbuster, which all the fans wanted, and they got to use it for a reason. Not just Hulk turning into a bad guy, he got mind controlled, and that's why the Hulkbuster came into a thing. It was cool. Him and Bruce Banner invented it. Bruce Banner and Tony invented it. They made it to beat Hulk. Unfortunately, Hulk couldn't really get beat. It was a long fight, and he had to do all kinds of weird stuff to basically get him to finally pass out. They used him well. And then we go off into these other things where, Civil War, then I said Ragnarok, they did him well. And then we go to Endgame. And I understand, yes, it sucks to see him get beat up, but they had to take him out of the story. That's just what happens. You can't have him powerful. You need Bruce Banner there to be the brains there in the back scenes, and he does such a great job as one of the support pieces of the storyline and trying to figure out what they're going to do. He gets the Hulkbuster suit. There was a deleted scene or cutout scene where he breaks out of the suit, and they have the visual effects that you can watch where he talks to Widow and says, like, I did it, we came to terms. And they said it would slow down the movie way too fast to what was going to happen next, the snap. And I totally agree. I'm so glad they didn't do it. Him turning into Professor Hulk, or they call him Smart Hulk, would have been so dumb at that point. It would have just ruined that ending of it. Would probably ruin Infinity War. People wouldn't think Infinity War is the best Marvel movie, or is up there with Winter Soldier, because it would have just took that motion of the hype snap from like hype stop. We're gonna have a somber moment of, again, putting them in to fit a story, making it good, but this story would not flow with the flow of the movie. So I'm glad Hulk basically is just not there, because it makes it easier. Because Hulk fighting what's his name? He's Black Dwarf in the comic, but they had to change his name. Is it Cole Obsidian in the movie? I don't know, but he's Black Dwarf in the comic. Like, Hulk would destroy him. Instead, he was fighting him with the Hulkbuster, and the Hulkbuster, like, again, it's meant to take out Hulk, but Bruce Banner's using it for the first time. It's whatever. So we get that, and then we get Professor Hulk, and that's what I was getting to. Everybody hates Professor Hulk. I get it. All right, he looks like Mark Ruffalo a lot. They don't like that he's not savage. He's not beating his chest like the Hulk. And people want to see that craziness to be the Hulk. And again, we only get that Hulk in doses, because the fact that Hulk is so untamable, and it's just, we don't really are clearly told in these movies if he has so much control over him. We are told in Avengers, but then we see things happen. And so they make it like he's untamable, basically. So you want that crazy savage Hulk, but sometimes it won't work. You have to give us what we got in Ragnarok, a Hulk that kind of got to came to terms and started settling down for about 2 years or whatever, and became a person basically as Hulk. He wasn't Professor Hulk. He didn't have Bruce Banner's brain. He still wasn't intellectual like Bruce Banner and couldn't think like Bruce Banner. But that's the way I think Hulk's best representative than being a savage, just beast or whatever. So everyone got mad. Professor Hulk came. I think a lot of people that read the comics loved Professor Hulk. There was a huge storyline. The Hulks were fighting in his head. It was the Gray Hulk and the Green Hulk, and they merged together, and they became intellectual Hulk, where he wasn't as big. He was probably like, I don't know, 8 feet tall at that time. He walked through a doorway, and he was like standing like a couple feet above it, I think. And the big scene was like, "Honey, I'm home," and he's talking to Betty, and he looks way different. It's a really cool storyline. Peter David, rest in peace, wrote it. It's a really good story. But Professor Hulk, I said X, I sound like, he was done really well in the comic, and he even used like guns and stuff. It was crazy. He has a huge, it looked like a huge like grenade launcher gun. It looked cool on him. But so we got that, and it worked because we had to have Bruce Banner be Bruce Banner in this. We needed Bruce Banner more than the Hulk in Endgame. Or I'm sorry, and when we go to Infinity War, we needed Bruce Banner. So it was smart to take Hulk out of that. Not just because, we can't use him, but we're like, okay, we could use him in Avengers easily. Any Avengers movie. Everyone needs their own time. Everyone needs their own story. And there's a lot of characters in there. But Infinity War just does it so well, taking care of everybody. But Hulk had to be taken out for Endgame, because it would make things too crazy. Like, it wouldn't work. It's too hard to make. You don't want a god tier team right in the beginning of your movie. It's just something that kind of has to build. So him not being there, and he shows up in the Hulkbuster to go kill Thanos. That happens. Everything's gone. Fires go away. Then we get to the, they meet him as Professor Hulk. Everything's fine. They went back together. Then we needed him to be Professor Hulk because he had to be there as one of the brains. We needed a brain there besides Tony Stark. We needed a brain because someone had to start working on this idea of the quantum realm. And who are they going to make do it? They could have maybe brought old Hank Pym in maybe for a story. I just think it'd be odd. It was smart that they used Smart Hulk. He had this happen. We could change the story a little bit. We could put him in there. He wasn't really much of a punching bag at that time. The only thing is he did snap, and they make the snap so powerful in this universe that you die from it or whatever. In the comics, that doesn't happen. You can use the gauntlet and just whoop ass. It doesn't matter. But in this, they make it like it's devastating. So I think it was done really well. And then the fact that even he gets such a cool scene with the Ancient One, we're talking about him not being used properly. Like, my God, he got such a good story arc in that one. I just think I think people just don't like how he looks because he doesn't look savage and I'm a monster. It's just because he's more calm demeanor, but that's kind of what it is. And he's not looking to fight everything, not angry all the time. He's got the strength, but with brains. That's kind of what Professor Hulk has always been, and it worked. And that's why when the war happens at the end, we don't see a savage Hulk from Avengers that we saw jumping on building to building, grabbing things, throwing cars. Everyone's like, "That's what I love. That's what I miss." Yes, that's cool. That's fun. But imagine that in battle, where I think Thanos doesn't have the gauntlet. Story wise, Thanos would never get to the gauntlet. Because, like, look what happened when Captain Marvel got there and he had the gauntlet, basically. Or, yeah, he had the gauntlet on. He had to take a gem off and hit her with it. That's when he got it on. Like, Captain Marvel, I said miss. Captain Marvel would have beat his ass without the gauntlet. And he headbutted her and she just looked at him like, "Are you serious?" Like, Captain Marvel is a beast. So you imagine if Hulk was there before he got the gauntlet, that Thanos, dude, and him being pissed, dude, it just wouldn't work. So they had to have him get his arm burnt out. It sucked because I'm like, man, that sucks. They just take Hulk out like that. We don't get to see him fighting and stuff. But then from a story standpoint, I thought about, like, yeah, that makes sense. Because if Hulk was in there, Hulk would just be tossing people and he would just want to be running after Hulk or Thanos. That's the only thing that does kind of bug me is Drax, because Drax wants revenge against Thanos. You'd think Drax would have got a really big scene of him facing off against him. But I guess they forgot that. I don't know. In the comics, he was designed to kill Thanos as a whole different story. But he still had that arc with Thanos, and they dropped it really after. I feel like the first Guardians, they really didn't mention it that much until third one. They mentioned, like, he was meant to be a father, and kind of came back to him having a family before. But anyways, so Hulk couldn't be Hulk at that moment. It would have been too crazy. Thanos without a gauntlet, and I even believe in Infinity War, the only time that he's able to really take Hulk down is when because him and Drax is a lot different in the comics. They change. He's now a little more like Drax. He's not like the "I'm kind of dumb" guy or whatever, but it's a whole nother thing with Drax. But Hulk and Drax fight him, I believe. But I think he has a gauntlet at that point. So, but him without a gauntlet, I think upset Hulk after getting his ass whooped in a contained fighting spaceship, I think he would have done some work on Thanos. So we had to not have that happen because Thanos has to have the final battle and have the Iron Man moment. So Iron Man does a snap, he dies, we move on. Now, let's see if he covers what comes up next.
Against Thanos. To progress the story, what happened to him? He got knocked the hell out. And after everything that happened, Infinity War happened, Endgame happened, you finally have a point where you can splice the DNA between the Hulk and Bruce Banner. All of this happens, right? And then your cousin gets infected, and she don't even want to listen to you. And after everything that...
So, to recap, we got Hulk creating the Avengers. Everybody wanted him to be that way. But, again, you have to use them the right way. Again, Universal doesn't have the rights. Universe does have the distribution rights. We cannot make a Hulk movie. So when we do use him, he has to be important parts, important things. It has to be emotional. It has to be funny. It has to be a big part of the story. He has to make an impact. And when he does show up, it's a big impact when we see the Hulk. So it's a big part of the stories. Again, Avengers worked well. Civil War, he got beat up. He's a punching bag. Or I'm sorry, I always say Civil War, Age of Ultron, he's a punching bag. No, it played a part in the story. It made sense. Bruce Banner and Tony Stark built Hulkbuster. Like I said, it's meant to beat up Hulk. But again, he had a hell of a time, and I forgot even how he did it. It was something that was like last minute, basically, to kill him, or not kill him, sedate him. He had his whole arc with, I always want to say Betty Ross, with Black Widow. And Bruce wanted to leave. No, I don't know what to do. Then he just leaves on his own. He goes to Ragnarok. We get the perfect Hulk, I feel like, where the Hulk finally accepts just being the Hulk and becomes a more smarter. He's not Bruce smarter, but we got a Hulk that people should be happy with. But no, they're mad because Ragnarok sucked. I hate Ragnarok. All of a sudden, people just, I don't know, started hating that movie. It's weird. Then after that, we got Hulk basically getting beat up by Thanos. I get it. Everyone's mad. Again, you have to progress the story. You can't have Hulk running around beating the shit out of Thanos, because if that happens, we can't tell the story. It just can't. You have to do something and get him out of it. So they made him have a conflict with himself, and then he couldn't be it. So then we go and then we get him as Smart Hulk. He had to be the Smart Hulk because we needed it to have Bruce Banner in it. And they didn't want to just have Bruce Banner be Bruce Banner. They wanted him to be Hulk. They wanted Hulk to be there and finally give fans what they thought they wanted was Professor Hulk. Tons of comic fans couldn't wait for this. I was fine with it. I'm still not even really bugged with it. It is weird sometimes to look at him like not as a threat, but he's still a pretty big threat, I guess, when you think about it. But we just never seen him really fight as Professor Hulk. That's the only thing. We never really see him get in any brawls. And so I think that didn't help with people arguing against not liking Professor Hulk. Or what they call him, Smart Hulk. Smart Hulk. But whatever. They did what they did. They needed him to work on the quantum realm. Then he works with Tony. They all figure it out. Whatever. He gets to burn out his arm with the Fading Gauntlet. He's not used in the main battle. Makes sense because, again, if we had crazy wild Hulk and angry, he'd go beat the crap out of Thanos because Captain Marvel was already going to beat him while he had the gauntlet basically on. And if Hulk got a chance, Hulk would done work. And so they couldn't do that. Then we get him gone, goes into She-Hulk. Great way to get people to watch She-Hulk. That's why he's used, again, he's used for a reason. He's used for this emotional support and honestly used by Marvel to get people to watch She-Hulk. And everyone hated She-Hulk. Oh my God. I swear to God, people don't read comics or know the source material. They just go off the show and they're like, why is it like this? I don't get it. Why is she being like this? Well, I'm like, don't you read or don't you at least look up? There's Wikipedia at least. You can look up She-Hulk. So it brings us back to Brand New Day. We're at Brand New Day and all of a sudden there's no Smart Hulk. So has he been getting used the wrong way? Yes and no. Yes, we don't get full Hulk movies, but I don't think a full Hulk movie would work. He needs surrounding characters. Again, why Rick Jones is with him all the time and a lot of his stories. There's reasons. If you read a lot of Hulk stories, he has people with him. That's why he worked so well in Ragnarok, to have Thor to bounce off of. But would he work in his own movie? Who knows? Maybe a great director, great writer can make it work because I'm sure they can in Hollywood. But the thing is, we can't make it. Universal is holding it hostage. So we get what we get, and when they use them, I think they use them great. They use them the best way they can, and nerf him when they can, make him great when he can, like strong when he can. It's just because you have to have a balance. You got to have a balance in the story, or it just gets dumb. It turns into, if you wanted to not make Superman not have kryptonite, and there has to be something that makes a balance. This guy can't just run around beating the hell out of everybody. There has to be at least someone stronger to fight him or whatever. Or someone that maybe can make tech that hurts him or whatever. There has to be stuff to balance things out. And unfortunately, they have to do that with the Hulk a lot. Even with Thor, they kind of did that sometimes where he wasn't feeling quite Thor-like in Ragnarok. And then he becomes more Thor. And then we got him in Infinity War where he's like Fat Thor. So you kind of nerf people for a reason and take them out for certain times. It just sucks because the only times we've seen it with Hulk is when the only times we get to see him. So it sucks. So we know he's in She-Hulk. He somehow got better. We don't know how. We know that the blood from She-Hulk healed his arm or helped heal his arm, but we don't know why he went back from Professor Hulk to Bruce Banner. So with that being said, we're going to hear what he says, then we'll talk about Spider-Man New Day, because I did this way longer than I wanted to.
That happened, you end back up at square one where somebody is mind controlling you to turn into Savage Hulk to hurt innocent people. Like, it was a full circle around for Hulk. Like, me coming to this realization after watching this trailer makes me very sad for one of my favorite all-time characters, because they're doing nothing but writing him in stories so he can be the biggest punching bag to make the story carry on. It's never his own it's never his own story. I understand Universal and all that shit, but why isn't it not like, bro? I know I'm not the only Hulk fan that is
Problem is, I think Hulk fans really get it. And if he read the comics, and again, I hate being the gatekeeper guy, being like, oh, you don't read the comics. But I'm sorry, it's like talking about preaching Jesus and you didn't know the scriptures. It's like, you can't really talk much about how this is supposed to be when you don't know how it's supposed to be or why they're representing him in certain ways. He says he knows about the Universal thing. Cool, great, I get that. But yeah, he can't have his own thing. And when he comes in, is he used as a punching bag? We've had moments where he's had to do fights. We have moments of humor. We've had moments of emotion. We've had moments of just, like, I want to say, like, heart, faith, strong, proud, he gets moments and they make it work for the Hulk. So is he getting treated bad? Not really. He's just in an unfortunate spot and they use him while they can. and they use them the best to their capacity. Not trying to give MCU a whole free pass on how they do their characters, because there's a lot they do and mess up on. But like, I think Smart Hulk should have looked a little different, to be honest. I want him to look more like the comic Smart Hulk. I don't know why he wore glasses as Smart Hulk. Like, his eyes got bad in the comics. I don't know, because he doesn't in the movie. But he has these little circle 90s glasses on. But they do what they can. And that's one thing I'll give MCU credit for, is they make him work. And yes, sometimes he's got to get mind controlled. With this, we don't know with Spider-Man. We don't know if what's going on. He's going to fight Spider-Man. It's probably going to do with mind control, 100%, because it seems like people in the trailer, people are look like something's possessing them, going through their bodies, bouncing around. And it looks like something's going through people. So yeah, I think he's not going to just attack Spider-Man for the hell of it. But I do believe Hulk's going to remember Spider-Man once it wears off, and he's going to remember Peter Parker. But I don't know. I want to say, because Tom Holland said someone does remember him in the movie. I thought Hulk would make sense because Hulk knew him, but I don't think Bruce Banner or Hulk ever met Peter Parker like Peter Parker. So the Doctor Strange spell, I don't think would have had any effect, because Spider-Man got snapped, and before the snap, Spider-Man just came off the bus to help the fight. Hulk couldn't turn into Hulk, or Bruce stayed back and couldn't do anything. So they never really interacted, and Hulk stayed back while they went into space. That was all that. He got snapped, and when they finally all came back, Hulk arrives there, they get into the fights, and that's it. And they're only seen at Tony's funeral. So that's the only time they could have saw each other. And that might be what they use, that he remembers him at Tony's funeral. But that's the only way they could have crossed paths. So I don't know if Hulk made the most sense, because he's a different entity, kind of. They go back and forth. So it'd be cool that Hulk remembered, and that piece of the Professor Hulk was still there, and he remembers Peter. But I thought, no, that's going to be cool. It's going to be Hulk. But now that I think about it more, it's like, when did they really get to meet? Like I said, the only time we'd be at the funeral. It's the only time. So, that being said, who knows what's going to happen next with the Hulk. I'm glad they're throwing him in a Spider-Man flick. Again, we don't get to have a movie with him, so if he could sneak up here and there, that's great. I'm happy just to have him. As all Hulk fans, if I'm not the only Hulk fan, I'm just saying, I'm not the only Hulk fan that doesn't want to see him go away. And I think us at least getting to see him not get stuffed and not be used at all is pretty satisfying with the limits we have on him. It's pretty nice that we do get to have him around and he's in the world. And again, there's times where he has to disappear or be away or be off planet, because it has to fit the storyline. This is how you make movies. This is how you tell stories. This is how you write books. You have to do certain things to switch different elements, because certain people can't be there for certain things. But that being said, I hope he's done well in Spider-Man Brand New Day. I'm looking forward to see it. I do believe, yes, he'll be mind controlled. I do believe Bruce Banner will play a significant part in it. Will Bruce Banner become more of a homie of Peter? I don't know. I don't see it with the trailer so far. I feel like they're only going to talk for a little bit. But I would hope maybe Hulk could be in it more. But I think he's going to be just a side note. He's probably his smallest role, I think, compared to everything else. And that's what sucks. Compared to, like, I mean, I guess She-Hulk, but he was pretty small in She-Hulk. But all the other movies, I think this will be his smallest part. It'll be Bruce Banner, turn to Hulk, fight Hulk scene. And then I think we're not going to get Hulk after that. So for all the complaining and stuff, and he went back full circle, I'm happy that he's coming back, period. So we know we're back to this Hulk. We went through the process, and this is called arc. This is called character development. So they're building a character of what Bruce Banner has gone through, and the Hulk have gone through, from Avengers, following him to now. He has a really crazy story, from wanting to run away, be together with someone, run away, thinking he found his home, coming back, things are different, not wanting to be it, can't fight it, can't be it, comes together with it. Now I'm together with it, I'm not that well, then I'm well, and then what happens next? So that's storytelling, folks. I hate to break it to you. And that's what they did with the Hulk. They did some storytelling with what they could do, because they didn't have full access with it. So that's all I have to say about it. Just want to clear Hulk's little name out there. People are really harsh on Hulk. They're harsh on Marvel, I should say. MCU. And again, I'm not giving them credit on everything. Like, A lot of their characters they don't do right, and they've messed up, especially villains. Oh my god, I've gone and made a video about the villains. The villains they've done so bad. But Hulk, I think they did the best way they can do, and we can't be upset with that if we're a Hulk fan. We should be appreciative and happy that he's there. And when we have seen him, we've seen all the different shades of Hulk that he's been, except for Gray. That was more of a pun, but we will probably see Gray, I'm hearing, in this one. They're psyching us out that he's going to be Gray in this movie. But I'm saying we've all seen the different varieties of Hulk that we've seen in the comics. So this is kind of like, here you guys go. This is like stuff that's happened through the comics. He's been these kind of Hulks and used like this and used like that. So at the end of the day, he got a story arc. He got his own story. They looked at things that like, you know, Avengers 1 was his movie, then Ultron was his movie, and then the final chapter was going to be Ragnarok. You know, that's kind of like his trilogy. That was his trilogy, I think they were saying. But a lot more happened though. But that was supposed to be like, they gave him his own little mini story, and he had a character arc. He had development. Watch it from the first to the second to the third. There was a clear story going on in there. So again, as Hulk fans, huge Hulk fan, got him right here on my shoulder. Nice little one of my, I think my second tattoo. I think Hulk fans should just appreciate it and be happy, because if not, they could really just ignore them, because Universal is a butthole asshole, and we, you know, it'd be a lot easier just not to worry about the rights, and we don't got to pay them anything. But they put Hulk in there because Hulk's a good character. So I think we should be happy and thankful that they are in here. And when he does get used, it's for the right reasons when he gets used. And it makes sense. Either we need Bruce Banner there for certain times, or we need Hulk there for certain times. And when we have them gone at certain times, there's reasons why they're gone. So hopefully that explains it a little bit for people. Hopefully they kind of understand. It's not so much an opinion, it's so much more understanding storytelling and the rules around using the Hulk. With that being said, OBS is getting turned off because no editing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I did. Bye.